Good morning and welcome to the Dharma.life podcast. I'm your host, Aloise.life, and today I'm coming to you live from my holiday in Croatia. My husband and I managed to get away, which is fantastic. I'll tell you all about it. And today we are talking about the universal law of consent and why this law is so important to get your head around. I'm going to be explaining the universal law of consent. I'm going to be explaining how it works, how it operates, why you need to understand it, why it's so important for your spiritual and mental development, and how it is being really manipulated right now, and really what you can do about it, and giving you a declaration that you can utilize to take back power, to take back control. But first and foremost, I'm going to show you where I am. So let me just turn this around. Oh, I don't think it will let me do it while I'm started. Okay, so let me just show you. I'm going to turn the camera, so I apologize if it's a bit shaky. So we are in Croatia. Ooh. And we managed to get away for a beautiful little holiday. Which I am so pleased about, because before all this madness, my husband and I used to travel literally probably about 10 times a year. So it's been a bit of a shock to the system having to be in the UK for so long. And we managed to get out here, which I'm really pleased about. Basically, all we needed was a negative test. I didn't wear a mask on the plane. Didn't wear a mask in the airport. Haven't worn a mask since I arrived. I'll tell you about that as well. And it's been so worth it. Croatia's on the green list, so it's very easy to get out here. And it was just literally as simple as doing a test, which you can do yourself, just around the bottom of your nose. You can use your own swab, and you did that test, get a certificate, and then you basically have to give that certificate in when you board, when you basically check your luggage in. So it's really, really simple, and it's not difficult. Something that we really need to do, I think, right now is to be aware that a lot of what we're being told is an illusion. It isn't actually the reality of the situation. So really pleased we came away. We'll be doing it again. My hope and for the future is that actually you will still be able to travel with just a negative test. I know they're saying that we have to get these vaccines and everything, but don't believe them, because it is part of the coercion that is happening right now. I'm going to explain to you in this video why and how our consent is being manipulated. So first of all, let's talk about the universal law of consent. So what is it? Well, the universal law of consent basically stipulates that we must give our consent to any situation that we enter into. Now, informed consent is something that was formed and put into law in the Nuremberg Code after World War II, because of the incredible atrocities that happened in World War II, where human rights were completely abused. This piece of legislation, the Nuremberg Code, stipulated that humans must give their informed consent into medical examinations or medical experiments. Now, unfortunately, what is happening right now is the informed consent is being manipulated with humans. If you imagine, there is so much misinformation, so much false data out there at the moment. We are being manipulated by it. So, for example, what I mean by that is somebody is taking something or wearing something because they believe that the information they're giving is correct. And therefore they're making a decision and they're consenting off the back of that information. Now, if you are watching my channel, you are awake and aware. Now, this is where it's really interesting, I think, because obviously what's happening is it's almost like a race against time for the powers that be, because they know when somebody is spiritually awake and aware, they are much more difficult to manipulate. because we are in coherence, we are in resonance with ourselves, we are in connection with our highest spirit, and therefore we can see through lies and bullshit. Excuse my French. Now, what is happening at the moment is informed consent is being manipulated due to data, due to facts, due to MSM. And people who aren't spiritually mature, remember I've said in previous episodes where somebody's got a shut root chakra, they are trapped and stuck in fear, and they do things because they want to feel safe. Now, when you are not spiritually mature, you are often able to be manipulated because you will do things which your head tells you to do. You will basically let your head override your heart. If you imagine, we have been educated into our heads. As a collective, we've been put in our left brains. You know, our education system stipulates that we need to be brainy, blah, 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 blah. So we've kind of been pulled into this left brain. And obviously, when we do something that is out of alignment with our heart and out of alignment with our correct path, we do feel it. We get pain in our pain body. But what's happening right now is there's so much fear and so much social pressure on people that they are letting their heads override their hearts. So think about this in your own life. So I want you to think about yourself and what's happening for you. Often, when we're not completely sure of ourselves and within kind of spiritual maturity, we might be doing things like wearing even though it doesn't feel right. And think about that. Think about when the times you've had to, and this is no judgment because, you know, people need to do what they need to do. But I just want you to use it as an example. Think about the times you have worn this and how it makes you feel. The chances are is something would not feel right and it wouldn't feel right to you. But because of social pressure, you would have probably overridden this. So I've spoken to so many people and so many people have said, well, you know, I want to travel, or I don't want people to stare at me, so I'm just going to do it anyway. And that is a classic example of this overriding this. This is my heart. So fear, collusion, kind of social pressure is really influencing the spiritually immature people at the moment, because they would rather not stand out. They'd rather conform than really do their research. And sometimes people aren't doing their research because they don't want to grow and they don't want to evolve, and they feel they're avoiding it, basically. And as you guys know, it's our job. We came here to evolve and to grow. It's basically why we've come to this earth. And actually, everything that's happening right now is to speed up our evolution. Again, if you follow me, I will always talk about the fact that if we have the highest understanding of what is happening right now, we understand that everything's happening for our highest and best good. And of course, everything is happening for our highest and best good. And consciousness has just created a way for us to evolve and us to evolve quicker. And this is a realm of duality. So there's black and there's white, there's light and there's dark. And we came here because it is the quickest way for our souls to evolve. So in some shape or form, you have agreed to everything that is going on right now. But I really want you to understand this law of consent, because it does make a difference, because what you consent to will govern your frequency, and it will govern your frequency moving forward. So if you think about it, if we are being educated into our heads and we're overriding our hearts, this is what happens with people all the time. This is what I talk about in Dharma. I talk about the fact that often we will not leave our safe job because our head tells us we have to be responsible and secure, so we don't follow our heart. Now, what happens is when we let our heads override our hearts, we are not on our true path. We are not on the righteous path. We are not on the dharmic path. We get off track. And how we know this is because we experience pain in our pain body. So think about the times when you've been off your path, or you haven't done something you know you should do through fear. It could be the example that I've been talking about now, about wearing maybe you are still wearing it because you don't want to be judged. or you don't want people to look at you. You experience this pain in your pain body every time you do it because it just doesn't feel right for you. That is your inner sat-nav. That is your inner CEO. And that is what we want to follow at all points and all times. That is your higher self. And we're going to be talking a lot more about this in the Reclaim Your Power Challenge that I'm doing. It's starting very soon, so if you haven't already, please do sign up for that. But what we need to make sure we are doing is we are in alignment with our highest self and our highest path. We need to follow our hearts, because this also is what gives us spiritual maturity and spiritual cohesion. So something that you can do is to make a declaration, because when we are in alignment with our intent, we will be on the correct path. And I know lots of you guys are following me because you're spiritually awake and you're spiritually aware and you're a seeker and you want to live the best life you possibly can and you want to evolve and you want to grow. So your intent matches your consent. So as I have a little declaration for you, I want you to declare that you are here to follow your highest path and purpose and to serve the universe and to serve everyone around you. So this declaration, by declaring a declaration or something similar, what feels right for you, it's up to you what you want to declare. But I always declare, I'm here to follow my highest self and my highest path and my highest purpose. Now, your intent matches your consent. So, for example, with me, because I know that that is my intent here is to grow and evolve. And I often talk to my guides and I often say to them, please help me evolve and please help me grow and please help me understand and really see why everything is happening for me, not to me. Then basically what happens is everything that happens is in alignment with that. And that is what I'm consenting to. Now, because we're spiritually awake and we're spiritually aware, we can make this consent and this declaration because we understand why the law of consent is so important. Because if we consent to things which we don't resonate with, this frequency will be given off. So, for example, a lot of people message me and they say, how is it that you can walk around without anything on your face, on a plane, through an airport, in supermarkets over here in Croatia? I've had no problem either. I just walk around and it's really quite funny. And that is because my frequency is such that I just don't get bothered. It's a high enough frequency. People talk about being in the 5D. My frequency is in that 5D frequency. So it's almost like you're a completely different energetic match to other people. You're a completely different frequency than. That's why it's so difficult at the moment to communicate and connect with people in a different frequency, because they are literally in a different world to you. So everyone listening to this, I love you to take or to state some type of declaration of what you are in alignment with and what you are really consenting to. Because that will really help you moving forward. And I think the other thing that I really want you to get your heads around is we mustn't override our hearts, because this is almost like our central guiding system. This is our inner CEO. This is our inner sat-nav. And we talk a lot more about this in the challenge, Reclaim Your Power. If you can be true to your heart always, you'll be true to your highest self. And obviously this whole evolutionary journey that we are on is all about integrating our highest self. It's all about becoming spiritually mature, opening our energy centers, really evolving, really growing. So I wanted you to understand this law of consent, this universal law of consent. I think it's really, really important. I wanted you to understand how it's being manipulated right now and how people are doing things which they would never, ever normally do, but because they aren't spiritually mature, they can't see what is happening right now. Now, again, we never judge. I only hold love for people. But it does help to understand why some of our friends and family are maybe not doing or seeing the world the way we are. We are just at a different place in our spiritual evolution. And as I've explained in previous episodes, basically they may be younger souls. And as a younger soul, they have this process to go through to evolve so that they become more spiritually mature. So you beautiful people, always a pleasure. I have to say, I'm so pleased to be here away. The sunshine is doing me so much good. If there's anybody out there who is thinking of going away, I would really recommend you try and do it, because it's just so good for us, and it also busts us out of the illusion. You know, I think a lot of what is happening right now is in our heads, you know, because of obviously what we're being blasted with on social media left, right and center. Like here it's very relaxed. The Croatians are really cool. They just wear their these around here, which is really good, and no one seems to bother about it. And as I said, I've just walked around completely just doing what I want to do, and it's been fantastic, and it's been totally worth it. So you beautiful beings, don't forget, make your declaration of intent. I know if you're following me that you're somebody that wants to really evolve and really mature into their highest path and purpose. Please let me know if this was useful. Please comment below. It really helps me if you comment. I'd love to get my videos out to more people. If this was useful, please share it. That would also be really helpful. I love you. Thank you so much for being on the journey with me. It is an exciting, incredible time to be alive. Please keep holding it as that. Please keep holding it that this is an incredible time to be alive. And I will see you when I'm back in the UK. Don't forget, Reclaim Your Power Challenge, and sign up below, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the Dharma Life podcast. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come over and say hello on my Instagram, our Facebook group, and also please let me know what you thought. So if you are listening, please take a screenshot of the podcast that you are listening to. Tag me on Instagram and I will reshare your post, and please let me know what it is that you got out of today's episode. Remember, when we do our Dharma, we are happier, healthier, we live longer, and we have a deep sense of unshakable inner peace.